Welcome, everyone, to the Lawrence County Animal Hour. I'm Beth Keaton with Friends of Lawrence County Animals.
And I'm Ginger Morgan with the Lawrence County-Lawrenceburg Animal Shelter.
And today, our first guest is Commissioner Dave Ray. Dave, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much, Beth. So happy to be a part and be here today.
Well, we're happy to have you. We've got a two-part show today. Dave is an incumbent running for county commissioner. He does have an opponent, so we will have his opponent on in the second half of the show. So y'all stick with us. Don't be going anywhere.
Sure.
All right, Dave. Before we get started, though, let me thank three special businesses. Our sponsors. Our sponsors are Hearing Care Services of Middle Tennessee, Parks Lumber Company, and Story and Lee Furniture. And they have been with us now for however long we've been doing this. And that's been a couple of years, I
As
guess.
far as I know, yeah.
So we really
And WLX.
appreciate our sponsors. Thank you so much. So, Dave, let's talk about the county commission if you want to first. Just tell us a little bit. Are you in your first term or second term?
Yes, this is my first term. I was elected at age 19. The people of District 13,
Wow.
gave me the opportunity and put their faith and trust in me to make decisions for them, even as a 19-year-old. And I had some bright ideas and things that I wanted to work on, and I think we've accomplished a lot in these first 4 years. And I'm certainly hoping to have the opportunity to work again for another four. So
Right.
it's going to be a great next 4 years, one way or the other, on the Lawrence County Commission.
Okay. And I would assume that it probably takes the first year just kind of getting to know what you're doing,
It certainly does.
how to be a county commissioner, and what the state allows us to do.
Absolutely. Well, I've just made it a point to educate myself as much as possible so I can be an educated representative for my constituents. And there are a lot of things that we have to learn, and the state does restrict us in a lot of ways. But there's still a lot of good work that we do, and I'm thankful for being able to learn and to educate myself. The state makes it easy for me to do that.
Now, are there particular classes that you have to take with the state, and are there so many hours that you need to complete?
Yes, so as a commissioner, they want you to have continuing education hours every year, and so through attending conferences and things of that nature, which I've done over the course of my first term, I have attended a lot of those conferences and connected with different individuals across the state, and I've been able to complete all of those continuing education hours, which is important to me because it's not just a benchmark of saying I've learned something, but it's being able to say I have tried my hardest to learn and to educate myself to be again a good representative of District 13 in this community. So,
Well, I appreciate that.
absolutely, certainly,
We're all about continuing education.
it's great. Great.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Um, well, let's talk about your pets. Do you have any pets currently?
I have two pets. We have Buddy. Buddy is a dog. And Pumpkin. I did not name these animals. My sisters did, as you can tell. But Buddy is a rescue. He was kind of roaming the area a few years ago. We had a produce store, as so many know, and Buddy just decided to show up one day. And the first day he got there, he was bouncing on customers and things, and so we had to tie him up for a second just to get him to calm down. Well, he's a smart dog. By day two of him being tied up, he learned his lesson. So we untied him, and he was very cordial with
Yeah.
everybody at that point. And so he's a smart dog too. I have to tell one more story before I talk about the cat just a little bit. So we live in the vicinity where the store was, so we were very close. And Buddy started to learn our vehicles. So when I would drive home from work and drive around, he would always beat me over to the house. He'd run across the field and he would meet me there when I was getting out of my car. Well, he does that every day with all of our vehicles. Well, except Sunday. There is a church right across the street from my home. And Buddy goes over there on Sunday and he sits right there and he ignores every single one of us. And I was wondering, and I would call him out and look for him on Sunday morning, make sure he's fed or whatnot. And I just couldn't understand it. Well, I found out later there were two special ladies bringing him some scraps on Sunday
Oh,
morning.
yeah.
So those two ladies were very special in his mind on Sunday. So So he was fed well
That
on Sunday.
that
And
Trump
here
deal,
I thought,
yeah.
because dog's hearing is so good, I thought he was sitting outside the church listening to the
Well, he
message
could have been, maybe
or
so.
the music, you know.
He's a pretty good dog. So maybe he is
Uh,
getting some wisdom there. But we also have the cat, and of course, my dad always makes a joke. We're just staff to the cat. He runs the place.
that's how it
we,
usually
we're
is.
in his world. So of
Hmm.
course, the animals come in. We had a pretty bad storm yesterday, as many know. And so our animals come inside during the storm, but they're outside the rest of the time. They enjoy being outside, and so we take care of them though during those stormy times and cold times and rainy times.
Well, that is good. That's
Yes,
good. That's called being a responsible pet owner.
yes, absolutely.
And we love that. And we love our cats too. Now, the Lawrence County Lawrenceburg Animal Shelter is just dogs. We don't have a facility for the cats. But
Excuse me,
well,
but
well,
Frankie, you forgot about Frankie.
I even
And
stepped
we
on his
have
tail and I
Oh,
forgot about
yeah.
Frankie.
So, and we took some dogs the other day to get spayed or neutered, and some of them were feral, so we didn't know whether they were going to be spayed or neutered. But Frankie, he had a little injury to his paw, so he's been in my office in a little kennel because if otherwise he's on the desk and on the computer. And so he was going to be ready to go to the free world today. So I let him out and somebody walked in and he walked himself right back into the shelter.
Oh my.
And so
Uh-oh.
he's back in the shelter.
He's already
today.
spoiled to your office.
Yeah. Hmm. Well, let me tell you,
Now,
that litter box has a smell all of its own.
Now, so he is a stray, and I think
He
you've
is.
had a couple of more strays out there. You even had a mama cat with some kittens at one time that just
Yep.
came up.
Yep. And
So
we've had her spayed, and we had one of the kittens that we could catch neutered,
Yeah.
and Frankie neutered, and then
Yeah.
we had another cat.
So we
neutered.
do love our cats, but we can't take cats
No,
at
we
the
don't.
shelter. And it really amazes me that Frankie wants to sit around the shelter with all those barking dogs. That really
And he will go up to the ones like that have
I-
been adopted. You know, we take the pictures, and I guess maybe he can tell. I don't know, but I was trying to take a picture one day, and he's like rubbing all against the dog and the lady, and I'm like, one of these days,
Oh,
I
know.
pray for Frankie.
Right. Well, Dave, tell us why you think animal services matter at the county level. Is it mainly public safety? Is it what is it? What do you think is most
Well,
important?
so many of my constituents and so many members of this community have animals.
Mm-hmm.
I do think there's a lot of aspects to it, public safety being one of those. But counties in Tennessee, as both of you know, we're not required to provide an animal shelter, but we think it's a great resource in our community. As you know, of course, the city of Lawrenceburg started the animal shelter. I don't know when it was started. It's been around for a
It's
while,
been
right?
around for a long time. Now the new building I think is like 4 years old
Yes.
ish.
Yes.
So we partnered with the city of Lawrenceburg, and working with them to serve city of Lawrenceburg residents. And so a few years ago, it's been since I've been on the commission, we took the Lawrenceburg Animal Shelter under the county's direction, and so that enables us to really serve all of Lawrence County well. And we do that. We're looking for quality of life for the animals and
Mm-hmm.
for our citizens. That's a big thing for the citizens of this county.
Yes.
It's a quality of life thing for them as well. Public safety is important too because there are animals out there who've had bad experiences, in their lives, and caused harm to maybe individuals.
Mm.
And so making sure that public safety aspect is very important. But I think that's why it matters at a commission level. Sure.
Yes. Well, and I know that you and your family have experienced the stray, like you said, the dog you have now. So many people in our community have experienced that, and not just one. I mean, there are people that have 5 dogs.
Yes.
I, it amazes me at the dumping areas in the county, and I hate to say that, it's so harsh, but people do that, and it is against the law. It is against the law to dump or abandon an animal, and I know we are working extremely closely with the district attorney's office, the sheriff's department, and if we can catch you, we're going to put you in jail.
Sure.
And I mean, because it's wrong to do that. So, but thank you for taking in your stray.
Absolutely. Two. Both
Two?
of them.
both
Both of
oh,
them
the
were.
cat
Two.
too.
The
Oh,
cat too.
oh, and the cat too. Okay.
Yeah, they were both just in the community, but they're not anymore. They are at our house.
No, no, they're raised now.
They are
They're raised
Yes,
now.
yes.
Absolutely. Um, okay, so when it comes to the budget, which I know you all are already working on again, it seems like you don't get one done until you're working on another
That's
one.
exactly right.
Oh, and I know it's a lot of work and a lot of meetings. Um, the county commission has so much to deal with in the budget. I know you've got, schools. We've got to have schools. We need good schools. We got to support our schools. We've got to have roads. We've got to have our emergency services, our first responders. You know, where do you feel animal services does fall within that,
Sure.
or does it fall within that? Is it an essential service in your mind?
Sure. Well, I certainly think it is to a certain degree. There's again, it's a public safety and quality of life thing, just like I mentioned a moment ago. And because it is under the direction of the county now, again, I look at the budget holistically. We look at it as an entire document, but not as just the document. We take things into account when it comes to that. And so it's so important that when we're budgeting, we're being thoughtful of leadership. Ginger, of course, is managing it day to day. We want to make sure we're connecting with her on a budget level to make sure her needs are met on a resource level. And so we fit in. The county commission handles your county budget, and so that is truly where it fits in my mind. It's just making sure their needs are met at the animal shelter, right?
Do I need to start sending some cookies to people or
It
visit with
never
visit
hurts
with
to
puppies
Yeah,
while
cookies
people
are
are
always
discussing
welcome,
that
right?
new? Yeah.
Cookies are always welcome, Ginger. That never hurts. Okay.
Well, I'm going to start on that.
Yes, yes.
Ginger, do you have any questions at this time?
One thing I did want to point out, Dave, that you said the the county and the city are both in on the budget.
Absolutely.
So they split the budget. I'm assuming that's how they'll do it this next time
Right.
as well. I didn't want. I know you were talking about the county part. I just
Yes.
wanted to throw that out
That's a
there
great
that the
point. Thank
city
you for
is
bringing
part.
that back in. Absolutely. Yes.
Well, and we're very proud of that partnership.
Yes.
We worked long and hard on that, and it's we do have a great. Our government is great partners. That you all work so good together, and it really is for the greater good. And so in this particular case, the county didn't have money to go out and build their own facility and find land or whatever, and so to come together like that, and it's just great.
It is.
And I'll go ahead and say, when I say we FOCA, we're the community. We connect the community to the shelter, and when we started fundraising for the new building, it was amazing how many people from the county, because when we started the fundraising, it was still a city project, and people from the county still gave
Yes.
and gave a lot. And of course, before it was over, it became the county city
Right.
partnership. And so maybe our community could see that happening or something, or maybe they were wishful thinking, but about at least 95% of our funds came from out in the county.
That's fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
That is.
Mm-hmm. But I think it also shows the need.
Yes.
There was a great need there, so we've
Yes.
been able to fill that need. One thing that we are also, or another thing that we're also very proud of, is our Lawrence County SNPs program. Spay and neuter is a positive solution, and we realize, as you said earlier, everybody has an animal, everybody has a dog. Most people have three or four, and I will just I'll add cats to that because cats multiply pretty fast. Um,
Extremely.
Extremely fast. And, it didn't take us long to realize we can't adopt our way out of this. We have got to cut down on the litters, the numbers of puppies and the numbers of kittens. So, again, the county government stepped up, and we thank you for that. We
Certainly.
thank you for that, and giving us that appropriation to manage that SNPs program, and it's working beautifully.
Yes.
It's working so good. So we hope that you'll continue doing that as well.
Yes. Well, Beth, it's such a great program, and I'll just tell you, since I've been on the commission, one of my priorities has always been to look for issues, and be proactive about it, not just try and address it on the end where there's already an issue and
Mm-hmm.
it's only getting worse, right? So trying to address something on the front end in the long term is going to be much. It's not going to cost us as much if we're doing it that way.
Right.
To be proactive, we don't have to worry about building a larger shelter. We can solve the problem on the front end, and I think that's what the SNPS program does.
I agree with you, and I know Ginger can attest to that as well because if she's having to feed more and vaccinate more and of course the shelter has to spay and neuter any animal that's adopted. That's a state law, I believe, that
Right. Oh
you
yeah, it has to be
which needs
within.
to be.
Right. They it needs to be adopted. They need to be spayed or neutered when they're adopted, but I think we have like 30 days, and there's a vet shortage, so we are going out of the county to places to like Williamson, Columbia, Nashville, to get those services
Mm.
for us because it's expensive.
Yes.
You know, just an average, let's say in 2024, I think we took in. Now, don't quote me on this because this is a a give or take kind of thing from my memory. I want to say we took in 189 dogs. Well, it costs us an average of $107 per dog just to have it spayed or neutered. And
Mhm.
then last year we took in, I want to say it was like 289 or 300 and something. So if you just think at how it's
Mhm.
going, and that is with, which is great because we're getting the dogs off the street. They're not a public safety issue because not only is it fear of somebody getting bit, but it's the dogs that are running across across the streets where
Right.
you swerve to hit, not to hit them, but to kind of swerve to miss them, and you run into a ditch or something. I know that's happened several times. So, but it's as many as we can get spayed or neutered, the better it's going to be in the long run. And I think it'll be more probably 5 years from now where we will really see those intakes slowing down.
Absolutely.
And it's not just that we're not just talking about dogs running at large either. I mean,
Yeah.
if they're a stray, more than likely they've not had their rabies shot.
Sure.
And that's always a concern as well. And if they were to
Right.
bite someone or scratch someone, if you don't know if they've had that shot, it's scary.
Sure.
So I think we're on the right track.
Yes.
I sure think so.
Now,
It's gonna
what
be a minute, but
it
yeah.
it it will. It will take a little while for it to start showing up. But we've had a couple of farmers tell us that they think it's already working because a lot of times for some reason dogs get dropped a lot on farms. I guess people just think they have cows. They
Sure.
they will love a dog or
Yeah.
something. Or take care of a dog. I don't know, but we've had a couple of farmers say they believe it's already making a difference. So we really hope so.
Yes.
One thing that we also feel like we have to do is change the culture. We have to change the culture about the way people think. And I've said so many times, I want at some I, before I die, I want people to think about spay and neuter just like buckling their seatbelt. It's just what we do.
Sure.
It's
Absolutely.
just what we do. So how do you feel the commission can help us with that, changing the culture?
Well, I think the first step is doing what we're already doing and partnering with organizations like FOLCA and our animal shelter, of course, and outreaching into our community, connecting with things just like local media, like they're making this interview
Hmm.
possible. Your
Mm-hmm.
schools, again, being proactive from the education standpoint. And so I think changing that culture does begin with education. And again, our best tool and resource on the county commission side is both of you and your organizations that you represent.
Well, I'm glad you brought up education because one thing FOCA is trying to get started,
Mm-hmm.
and we've actually been working on this a couple of years, but it seems like every time we start down that road, somebody pulls us over here because this is more important at the time. But is going into the schools and actually reading to the students. We have an author from Columbia that has written a book. Well, I think she's written four now, but the one we started with is Doggy Do's and Don'ts as told by Cadence the dog. And actually, we have a group that will be at Sacred Heart tomorrow.
Okay.
We've already been at Summertown Elementary. You know, I would love to see you reading to students.
Well, I would love the opportunity, Beth.
That would be fun. I'm going to put you on the list.
That would be great. There we go.
I
We'll
put,
volunteer.
yes,
I don't have a pen, but I'm in my
Yeah,
invisible
put-
ink.
put
Dave,
that-
or
I think that would
Make it happen.
well, and I think that's a great way for our leadership to show that you're supporting and that this is what I do and you know so yeah we've got you down now absolutely.
That's great.
um, let's see. What role does the commission play in making sure law enforcement has the support it needs to handle all the animal cases effectively?
Well, Beth, I think at the end of the day, it goes back to our budget. My job again is to handle and manage the county budget responsibly, and so enabling people like Ginger and people like our sheriff's office, which the animal shelter operates under,
Mhm.
it's making sure they're funded to the best extent that we are able to fund them in a fiscal year. And if there's challenges in that fiscal year, I think it's important for us to plan and look down the road and say, what issues are we facing now? Or, Ginger, in your experience, what issues do you think we may face in 3 to 5 years? So it's planning. It's not
Mhm.
just about saying, okay, we know this is your needs this year, but it's looking down the road and trying to understand the long term needs of our animal shelter.
Well, and thinking about the growth of our community.
Certainly.
I mean, we're
Yeah.
growing. Our
Yes.
numbers are increasing. People are moving here.
Yes.
And you know, good people are moving here. I've met so many good people, and that's another thing. A lot of people that move here expect these services
Certainly.
because where they came from, they
Right.
had them already. So, so that is awesome. Um, so, let's see. Are we about out of time?
I think we
I
are.
think so.
I think-
How did that go so
Yes,
quick?
it's such a good.
I know. I know. It's
gone so fast.
Well, let's let you say whatever you'd like to say before we boot you out and
Yeah.
bring in Mr. Brazier.
Before I get kicked out, I just want to thank you both for what you do. It's so great when we have fantastic partners from the commission's perspective who join together with us and you see issues that I don't see necessarily. You see them on a level that again I don't work in animal services all day. You do, you know. Beth, you partner with them all the time, so you see
Mhm.
these needs
Mhm.
and you see what my constituents need from your perspective. So it's so great whenever you're able to meet a need, especially whenever we're connecting and partnering on
Yeah.
such a need. So I just thank you at the end of the day for what you do.
Well, thank you. Thank you for supporting us, and we appreciate you being here today.
Hey, it is my privilege. I'll hope to be back very soon, and we'll continue talking about all the
That sounds
the great
great.
things going on in Lawrence County.
And you'll probably see us at a committee meeting at some point.
Oh,
That's great. We encourage you to
Yes.
participate in committee meetings. Always come join us. I'm on the animal welfare committee, so
Yes, yep.
we're always welcome for comments and concerns and questions. Always. So, thank you, ladies, for your
Thank
time
you so
today.
much,
We'll
Thank
see-
you.
We'll see you soon. Thank you for having me.
Thank you. Thank you. Ginger, do you want to give
I-
Dave, if you'll send Mr. Brazier in, that'd be great.
So
Do you
give a
want to
little-
give some numbers
some
or anything
numbers
while
for
we're
the-
waiting?
for the shelter? Yeah, I do. So year to date, we have had. Well, we were just talking about how many dogs we take in. So we've had 121 intakes, and we are just over the first quarter.
Mm.
You know, we're a little bit almost. I guess we're almost 4 months into the year. So we've had 65 adoptions, and we've transferred out 49 dogs. Now, currently, we have had a couple of dogs come down with parvo. So we are closed for intake as much as we possibly can. And at this point, we're not adopting any dogs out because
Okay.
we don't want anybody else's dogs to get parvo. And we, right now, pretty much everybody's healthy, but there's a range where the last symptom you have the last symptom of a dog, and then you have 2 weeks after that You want to make sure everybody's, is good. So
Mhm.
right now we're working on that 2 weeks out.
Okay.
And I'm just praying that, nobody else comes up with any symptoms. Um, but Parvo has been in, I know several of the vets have treated dogs with Parvo. So be really careful if your dog is lethargic, has diarrhea, especially if there's blood in it. Please take your dog to the vet.
And the 2 dogs that you have are doing okay, right?
They
Just
are.
for those
Yeah.
people that might be
Yeah.
interested and wonder what's
Yeah.
going on.
Yeah. They're
Um,
doing really well.
do you feel like with the uptick of parvo, are we not vaccinating our animals or
Well, probably not, but I will say this for the dogs at the shelter, we vaccinate them.
mhm.
So I don't know, like the one I'm sure had parvo, one had some diarrhea today, so we're just watching, or actually it was yesterday. Um, their annual vaccines are due in like a week. So I
Okay.
don't know if the efficacy of the vaccine, well, it probably does. It gets lower and lower as you're about
Right.
to vaccinate them again. But for puppies, they need to be vaccinated at least from the time if you get one from wherever. For us, we make sure that you bring them back if they haven't had all their vaccines. But they should be vaccinated every 2 to 3 weeks from the time they're 6 weeks old until they're 16 weeks old to help.
And I know my daughter had a puppy at one time and years ago, and the vet even recommended an additional shot, like gave it all of its shots, but just come back one more time. Let's just go ahead and do one more.
Right. Some vets,
So,
because I grew up with your dog gets 3 set rounds of shots if it's a puppies.
mhm.
A lot of vets will do the fourth one, and we do three if the dog has been adopted and it's not in the shelter. If the dog is
Mhm.
still in the shelter, we do four
Okay.
to make sure.
Yeah. Yeah, you're
So
very careful.
yeah,
Well, that's great, Ginger. You do a great job.
thank you.
Um, well, we have got our second guest coming in now today, and we'll introduce him when he gets in here.
Here.
Right here. This is the hot seat.
All
This
right.
is the hot seat. Miss,
Again, huh?
yes, again, Mr. Ray Brazier, and he is our guest for the second part of the show. And Mr. Brazier is a candidate for the County Commission District 13, I believe it is.
That's correct.
Yes. And if my memory serves me right, haven't you been a commissioner before?
My father was a commissioner on his fourth term when he passed away. I finished his term and then was reelected the next term.
Okay. Okay.
And then I chose not to run again. I was a professional fisherman and had my own TV show and sponsors was just, I didn't have time. I came from Chicago once, Atlanta twice to go to court meetings, and I was just too busy to
Yeah.
pursue it.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
retired now. I'm trying to take care of my mother was 92 Saturday.
Well,
I've got
happy
a,
birthday to Miss
birthday.
Brazier.
I've got a special needs sister and a farm that needs my attention. So that's what I'm doing.
Well, it sounds to me like you're a pretty busy fella, and you don't have time to fish anymore.
I don't want to fish anymore.
You're tired of fishing. You've done that.
I'm not tired of it. I'm afraid maybe I've never smoked, but maybe it's like smoking. If I do it again, I'm gonna quit.
Yeah.
And I have sponsors that are calling me. You don't make a living fishing. You make a living off of sponsors.
Yeah.
And I dealt with corporations as big as Honda, Long John Silver's, O'Reilly's. So and they
Okay.
still call me and ask me to come back, but I was home 15 or 20 days a year.
Wow.
I've got a new truck every year sponsored, and I never drove less than 100,000 miles. So I
Wow.
want to be home with my family.
Absolutely.
I don't blame you.
I had a daughter to pass away 2 years ago that woke me up. That I'm going to take care
Yeah.
of my family.
Yeah. Well, that sounds great. Well, this is the Lawrence County Animal Hour,
Yes, ma'am.
and I'm the treasurer of Friends of Lawrence County Animals. and Ginger is the manager, director, executive director.
Executive director.
I need to let you introduce yourself, Ginger. I get it. I mess it up every
Hey,
time.
sometimes I mess it up.
And sometimes you don't want us to know who you are, right?
Exactly. Sometimes I might. Let me sneak in here.
Is there a dipper with that red hair?
Well, I've been told. Stories have been told.
Stories are told on her a lot. Well, let's talk about your pets. Do you have pets at your house?
Ma'am, I'll tell the whole world, if my wife loved me as much as her two little dogs, I would be the happiest man in the world. We have, if a dog is dropped in our area, my wife and my mother, oh, we're not going to keep it, but it needs fed, and we need to carry it to the veterinarian and get it spayed or
Right,
neutered or
right.
whatever, and needs
I
shots.
agree with them.
And 15 years later, that dog is still there.
I'm glad to know that I can call Roberta now when we get a call from out west
Exactly,
of town.
yeah.
Just call Roberta.
I'll promise you, if you right now you could give my mother a 1,000-acre farm in Georgia to get rid of that two puppies, there ain't no way.
No way.
No way.
No way. Well,
And
that's the kind of people we love. There are a lot of those people in Lawrence County, and we have found that because we've been slow at getting our act together, so to speak, with animal welfare, we've ended up with a lot of stray animals, and a lot of people have taken them in, just like your family, and a lot of people end up with multiples. And so, one thing, Ray, that we that we're so proud of is our Lawrence County SNPs program. Spay and neuter is a positive solution, and the county commission graciously has given us an appropriation. I believe this is the fourth year. Time flies when you're having fun. I think it's the fourth year. And this is for spay and neuter assistance for those that need it most. And that program has worked so well. And so I hope that you were familiar with it, that you've heard about it.
Ma'am, provided, I don't know their budget or something like that, but on a personal level, I'm 100%.
Yeah.
We have fancy about the school. You don't. I went to school to be a veterinarian.
Oh,
Oh,
really?
I didn't know that.
And at that time, Tennessee didn't have a vet school,
Hmm.
so you had to go to Auburn.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't get accepted, and so I went on to school
Well.
to study management and teaching and engineering, and here I am, a fisherman and a farmer. But I'm totally blessed. But animals, I mean, you imagine making a living fishing.
Right.
I mean, I'm out there by myself, me and the boat, and it's nothing but me and God and the animals.
Yeah.
And I promise you, the bass is a lot smarter than I am. That's and we've had cattle all of our life. I've told some people that I've delivered more calves than probably most veterinarians.
So you've been a vet actually anyway on your farm. That's what happens. So, well, right now in Lawrence County, we kind of have a vet shortage. And that is really just based on our population. We have grown so much.
Right.
And I will say, we're so pleased that people are taking care of their animals. We promote responsible pet ownership. And so people are taking care of their animals, and the vets are really, really booked up. So, if you want to go back to school, we can get
I was
get
just
you a
gonna
job.
Say, do you want to? Now that
I've got plenty to do.
are you sure?
I'm positive.
If you just wanted to do spays and neuters, I'd be happy about that.
Johnny McGee was a dear friend of mine, and he tried to get me to move to Alabama. So I had the farm, and I was raising my cattle and my crops, and I was paying for my school with my scholarships, and so I was dumb enough to stay here. But I've been blessed, totally blessed.
He was a good one. He was our vet. We miss him. Yeah, but we've got really good vets in the county.
Yeah, we do.
Super.
We really do.
And,
We really do. Yes.
And they call, we carry a puppy to the vet, and on Saturday and on Sunday they call and see how they're doing.
Mm-hmm.
And,
Right.
That's out of the way,
Yeah.
but it's remarkable.
It really is.
It's just
Yes.
super.
Yes. Yes. Well, how do you see animal welfare? Do you see it more of a public safety issue or a quality of life issue? Um,
It's in a lot of respects, I could say where you could call it public safety
mm-hmm.
because dogs or cats or anything running wild, especially in suburban areas in town or something like that. But they can be a nuisance, and so that but at the same time, you know, my dad asked me once, did I believe in angels? And I said, I sure do. You know that, and he said, well, do you believe that that person on the street could be an angel? He said that may be me come back someday. And so if that dog, whether if I if there is such a thing as reincarnation, God, please bring me back as one of my mama's wife's puppies. I mean, just please bring me back because you'd be taken care of.
Right.
People have said that to me for a long time. Like, I want to come back as one of your
Oh
dogs.
yeah,
Right. Right.
I use a tank of gas in my farm truck once a week, riding my puppies around the farm. But every time I come in the door, they gotta go. And that's, I mean, we love our dogs, we love our animals. Whether having a dairy farm,
Yeah.
you made a living with your animals.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
And yes, and you love them. And and at our house we named them. So all of them. So well, if you are elected as county commissioner, you'll have to deal with a budget.
That's correct.
And that budget has grown since, I'm sure, since you were a county
Tremendously.
commissioner. What year did you say that was?
2010 was my last year.
2010. Okay. That really just seems like last
Yesterday.
week, honestly, but it's not. It's just crazy. Um, when so if the budget gets tight and a lot of times that happens, there's a lot of good things that are in that budget. How would you protect essential services while being physically responsible?
Well, I'm gonna be responsible for my citizens first, and they're you know the money that you're spending is coming from the taxpayers. But have I got a place in my heart for the animals, and do I think it's necessary? Absolutely. But for me to commit to what the budget is, that would I'd be lying to you,
Yeah,
and I'm not going to do that.
yeah,
But to tell you how I feel, I think it ought to be part of it. But we just
okay,
have to cross that bridge when we come to it.
right. Well, the animal shelter now is currently it's a partnership between Lawrence County government and the city of Lawrenceburg.
Correct.
It is on city property, but it's managed by the county. Ginger is an employee of the county.
Right.
It's under the sheriff's department. Do you feel like that is a good place, a good structure?
Absolutely. And if we had the money, we'd move it out to my place. Okay.
And make your mama happy.
And we would budget it. She said to me, if she were to sell one of them puppies for $1 million, that'd be what she'd want to do with the money, is build an animal shelter.
I've always said if I won the lottery, I'm I'm there.
I hear you.
Oh, I know. I've
I'm
said
buying the
that
land,
too.
building the
But
shelter. and-
I've got to buy a ticket if I'm going to win the lottery.
I have every once in a while.
I,
My wife buys enough for me and her. I used to, when
So-
I traveled so much at every state, I'd buy one.
Right.
Just tickle her to death.
oh, how
Now-
funny.
Now she can get them here, so
Yeah.
she's not lucky at all.
One of these days. And then she will have a farm for animals. I believe it.
Well, good.
Well, one thing that FOCA does is we try to change the culture. We try to change the way people have been thinking. Our county has been slow to, of course, have a county shelter. Um, so how do you feel as a county commissioner? How could you help change the culture in your district? We'll just say your district.
We're, were way too slow to have this shelter. We needed it a long, long time ago.
You know,
But to change the culture in my district, it just, you know, as a commissioner, I need to communicate with the citizens in my district and talk about their needs, but also be, you know, make them aware of what the shelter is doing and what most people, a lot of people, heaven forbid, they don't know who their commissioner is.
Mm-hmm.
They don't know who their county executive is.
no, they
Mhm.
do not.
And
Mhm.
so there's so many issues that they're not aware of, but that's something as a commissioner that I need to do.
Well, do you have a place out in Piney that you have coffee and talk?
Yes, ma'am, we do.
Mm-mm.
That's where you do it. That's where you start,
That's where
right
you
there.
start.
Yeah,
We're,
that's where you start.
our family was very much a part of the West End Community Center of getting it built and getting
Yes.
everything land, got banks to donate land and stuff like that. So
And you all have done well, very well. You've got a
it's
great club out
It's
there.
tremendous.
Great.
It's tremendous.
Yeah. Yeah. You've got a great club out there.
I
I
have
know. I see a lot
planned
of.
on coming out there to those breakfasts
Yeah.
that they have out there, and
I
I've missed like
know.
every one of them.
I don't.
There's nothing better than a breakfast.
Uh-huh.
We didn't miss it. My mother is not able to get my sister in a shower or anything like that.
Mm.
And we had 4 boys and 1 girl. There's some things a boy can't do. So I can't go without taking them. But that it's the greatest thing that ever happened.
Yeah.
It's been the stronghold of that community. There's so many fundraisers that's been done there, and it's a
Mhm.
good public place. The breakfast or whatever to make the people aware of what the shelter does or what the whole county
Or anything else that's going on. Absolutely.
Excuse
Yes.
me.
It's a great place. Yes. I love the community clubs and the volunteer fire departments. Yeah, absolutely.
Where would we be without it?
Absolutely. Yes, yes. Another thing that Focus working on is trying to get into the schools and start talking to the young ones. You got to start down here with the little ones about animal welfare, being a responsible person and taking care of your animal. We have a group that's going to Sacred Heart tomorrow,
Great.
and we've already been at Summertown Elementary, and the schools are so busy, Ray, and you've got experience from that because I know Roberta was on the school board.
16 years.
So I mean, I know and of course things have even gotten busier.
Another thing we did on our TV show, and I had the #1 rated show on all the outdoor networks, and we would go to a high school, and we discussed it whether to go to an elementary school or a high school. But the high schools are going to be the next leaders of this country.
Mm-hmm.
We go to high school and we talk to them about careers in the outdoors, and we would film it, and I was concerned about how students are not the same behavior as they were when we were in school,
No, they're not.
but
No.
still it was overwhelmed how it was taken and stuff like that we go into the high school or the elementary schools and talk to them about the shelters and maybe carry a puppy or something like that
Mm-hmm.
and it televised it makes it appealable to the students and to the faculty. That's what we need to do.
Mm-hmm. We really want to get into that and do it and start doing more of it. But it is hard. The schools are so busy. The teachers are
I
so
understand
busy. Um, I know I can tell you love to talk about fishing, because that is your life. And I was so pleased when they started those top clubs in the high schools, the fishing clubs and the hunting clubs and all of that.
Honey, there's more. Not everybody's a baseball player or a football player, and the competition is so keen.
Mm-hmm.
But if I can get a kid to go to college and he'd be a member of the shooting team or the fishing team or whatever, it gives him. I mean, I've been to college enough that you literally burn out.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you get so it gives him another interest to want to stay there and get involved,
Mm-hmm.
and also can learn more about the community and what he can do to help
Yes.
or she can do to help.
Yes. It gives them something to belong to,
That's right.
and keeps our kids out of trouble, I think. So,
Great
um,
idea.
well, as far as our public safety and enforcement, we have several animal abuse and neglect cases in our county. I mean, Ginger deals with it because when the animals are taken from the home or whatever, they come to the shelter.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and we're trying to step up, and um, we've had the district attorney on the show. We've talked with him. Of course, Sheriff Myers. He deals with it on with Ginger. Um, how do you what role does the commission play in making sure that our law enforcement has the support that it needs to handle these type cases?
I think our part would be to fund it, and then to make them accountable,
Mm.
and that's that would be. I don't know anything else.
And again,
Yeah.
and again, I think some of that too is going back to changing the culture, that even our law enforcement had not been used to maybe dealing with a lot of that. Uh, but I think it's beginning to come more to light that it's
Mm-hmm.
going on. People are seeing something, and it's like the signs out here with the kids: see something, say something. I think people are doing that with animals too. They're turning people in that are not taking care of their animals
Absolutely.
or neglecting their animals.
Absolutely.
So, well, it's good to know
And
that
they need to be turned in.
they do.
Absolutely.
They need to be turned in. Absolutely. I agree with that.
They may be an angel.
You know what?
They might be.
Well,
You know.
that is true. They may be an angel. Um, is there anything in particular that you would like to share with the people that are watching about your vision? If you're elected a county commission, anything in particular that you're looking to work on, or
I want to work on the needs of my community. I want to be conscious of the taxpayers and the burden that they have. We've got the economy's not as I wish it would be. Maybe it may be a little improved, but you know, there's fundamental things that's got to be taken care of for the government to exist, and we all got to have part of it.
mm-hmm.
And so, my first concern will be the citizens of my district, then the citizens of the county, and then their welfare, and certainly the animals' welfare is right there. It's part of it, but
And do you feel that the concerns, the issues that are in District 13, probably some of those same issues exist in other districts?
oh, no, no if in that. Absolutely,
Yeah.
and I've got uh, I've got 5 families in my district using the same washing machine,
Mm.
and issues like that is needs to take and city waters over less than a mile and a half away. And
Okay.
but supplying, you got it's got city's got to justify it, the county's got to justify it, but needs like that need to be taken care of. Individuals, uh,
Yes, water is important
absolutely.
to all of us.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Water and roads, and we're doing a good
Yeah.
job.
Yeah.
I'm not throwing rocks. Everything. I think the government is. I think the county is progressing very well. Uh, let's don't stop. Let's keep going.
However, you've been a commissioner before, and you do realize that it does take money
That's right.
to do anything, basically. Um, and
And being a landowner, I know where the money comes from.
yeah,
Yeah.
from the property tax. Yeah. But if we want services, we have to pay for them.
That's right.
Yeah.
And we do. There's some. That's. I'm not arguing with any of that.
Yeah.
I just want to. I want say, my first priority will be the citizens in my district.
in your district. How many live in your district? Do you, or how many? How? What would be the best way to ask that? The number of
Is
voters
it
or
households
I don't
or
know.
households?
I've got
maybe?
the list, and
Yeah.
I've got it, but I haven't
Sat down and
Counted?
counted it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I've got all their addresses and
Yeah.
stuff like that.
There are a lot of farms out there in Piney.
Well, it's,
Yeah.
the whole county
Yeah.
is farmland,
Yeah.
basically.
It is.
That's,
But
It's
there've been a
beautiful
lot of
out there.
people move out in the west end of town too.
we got, I call them foreigners coming in. And,
Well,
but
you better be
it's-
careful that you
it's
may be
fun.
wanting them to vote for you.
It's just what you say. If you don't want, something that's going to harm you next to some property, you better figure out a way to buy it.
Yeah.
Because there's people out here that will buy it.
Yeah, that's true. People are buying up land.
That's
That
right.
is true. Ginger, is there anything you'd like to ask Mr. Brazier?
Well, I just wanted to comment when he said if you wanted to control what's next to you, you better buy it. That's what I did in Memphis because I wasn't sure I had more dogs than I was supposed to, and I didn't want my neighbors to complain about me, so I just bought the house.
Next door?
I
Oh.
did.
You can only go so far, but
Yeah.
once you surround yourself, but there's a lot of issues in the county. We're talking about data center and a MOS and stuff like that, and it's a touchy situation. And to be honest, I don't have the answer, and I don't know if anyone else does.
Right.
But
I don't have an answer for it either. I mean,
and that's subject to be discussed later. I'm not a commissioner at this point in time.
no, but I would say if you're elected, it's going to be, it will be discussed.
yeah.
You'll have to be discussing it.
Absolutely.
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 Yeah. Yeah. So we'll ask you this. If elected, what is the one realistic step that you would support to improve animal services in Lawrence County? One realistic step.
I would support you and what you're doing, and even to improve what you're doing as much as I possibly can.
Yeah. Okay. That's a good
supporting
answer.
supporting SNPs is very important.
Yes. Yes, it's very important
It's
because it is the long-term solution.
absolutely
Right.
Yes.
I'm not
Yeah.
arguing with that.
Yeah.
By
Yeah,
no means. I'm not.
Yeah. Yeah, but there are a lot of people in this county that still don't want to have their animals neutered. Let's just be honest. It's
Yeah.
it's the boy dogs that they
Yeah. I just remember back my mom wasn't really crazy about dogs, and we had a few, and then we didn't have any for a while because lo and behold, I'm allergic to fleas. So there's that. I know, and I work at the animal shelter.
Oh,
Hmm.
Ginger.
Anyway, no, I don't. We don't have fleas that I know of because
That's
I don't
right.
have fleas.
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah.
But I got a puppy when I graduated high school, and she said, "You're paying for the vaccines. You're paying for the spay neuter," and it was a spay. And now that I look back at that, because so many people, we're not going to say how old I am, but so many people back then that spaying and neutering wasn't the deal. Of course, my mom knew she wasn't dealing with puppies.
Yeah.
I think that was she's
Yeah.
not dealing with them, and I'm not dealing with them either.
Mhm.
So
Well, we have we've got breeders in this county too. That and I know that we will always have breeders, and we will always have people that want that full-blooded something. And I'm not saying that that's a bad thing, but it does, I believe, hurt our adoption rate at the shelter. It puts
It
out more
does.
dogs in the community.
right,
Yeah.
more dogs needing homes.
Yes.
And heaven forbid you go by a house and 16 puppies run out into the road, and you would have run over one of them would kill me.
Oh, I know.
Oh, that
But-
would
Yeah.
yeah.
But you see that so many
Yes,
times
we
around.
we we get those 16 puppies.
Mhm. Mhm. Well, and why don't you tell us real quick about the puppy program, or do you want to?
Well,
You've got one
we have
minute.
several programs where we are transferring out. I talked about those numbers earlier. We're transferring out adult dogs and we're transferring out the puppies that come into the shelter actually to Michigan, where their spay and neuter laws, especially in this one county, I don't know if it's for the host state or not, but they are strict. Every animal has to be spayed or neutered. So we sent 30 puppies up about 3 weeks ago. They got there, they picked them up, they came down and got them, picked them up on a Wednesday morning. Thursday morning, they were in Michigan. They were spayed or neutered, I should say. And Friday morning, 29 of them got adopted. And I'm quite
Mhm.
sure probably Saturday. Yeah,
Wonderful.
yeah.
Mhm.
So it's
Mhm.
we're doing that to help alleviate the cost for us.
Right.
Um,
Just don't let my wife or mother see any of those
of my
pictures.
puppies. I know. I'm telling you, I'm like, ooh, that puppy's cute. But I will tell you this: I have two dogs now. I'm fostering a puppy, and I think they've adopted this puppy. So I'm not real sure exactly how I'm gonna get out of
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
That'd be tough, wouldn't it?
Yeah,
And we all love puppies. They're like babies.
we
They're
do.
so sweet. Well, Ray, we appreciate so much you being on the show
Okay.
today,
Thank you.
and good luck in
Thank you
your
very much.
campaign. And maybe you can come back and speak with us again sometime.
Any
And
anytime that just let me know.
okay, all right. And we want to thank our sponsors again. Hearing Services of Middle Tennessee, located on 43 Highway between oh gosh, my mind went blank. It's near CVS, Parks Lumber Company on 2nd Street, and Story and Lee Furniture in Leoma. Just look for the huge American flag and you'll find Story and Lee. See you next week.